Good morning, children. Hearty welcome to all of you for today's session. How are you all? Hope all are doing good, right? Children, have you started your studies seriously? Again and again, I'm telling you, children, it's high time to take your studies seriously. Okay, so today I have a new lesson for you, a drama from our first flight textbook, a one act play. It's also called a farce. FARCE. What do you mean by farce? A comic dramatic work. It's written in between 1888 and 1809. The play is about the tendency of wealthy families to find relationship with other wealthy families to increase their properties, their estates by encouraging marriages that make good financial status. Children, if you come to page number 143 in our textbook, you will get a brief introduction about our lesson. The last paragraph, page number 43, the last two paragraphs. So, here our character, Ivan Lomo. He was a long-time wealthy neighbor of Stepan Shubuko. Ivan was also wealthy. He comes to seek the hand of Shubuko's 25-year-old daughter, Natalia. All these three characters, who are they, children? Shubuko, Lomov, and Natalia. All these three characters are quarrelsome people. They quarrel over petty issues. Even the proposal is in danger of being forgotten amidst all this quarreling. So let's find out whether the marriage is made or not. Okay. So before moving ahead with the lesson, let me introduce you the playwright, Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov has penned this one act play. He was born on 29th January 1860. He was a great Russian short story writer and dramatist. He is considered to be one of the greatest writers of short fiction in history. His career as a playwright produced 4 classics, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writers and critics. He died of tuberculosis in the early hours of July 15, 1904, at the age of 44 in Germany. His renowned books are The Wife and Other Stories, The Lady with the Dog, Stories of Anton Chekhov. So now, let's move on to our lesson, The Proposal. Children, it is originally titled as A Marriage Proposal. The proposal, it is originally titled as A Marriage Proposal. Okay, so let's move on to a lesson. First of all, let's see the characters. Stepan Stepanovich Chibukov, a landowner. Natalia Stepanovna, his daughter, 25-year-old. And Ivan Vasilyevich Lomov, a neighbor of Shubukov, a large and hearty but very suspicious landowner. So let's see the settings. So a drawing room in Shubukov's house. Lomov enters wearing a dress jacket and white gloves. Wearing a dress, jacket and white gloves. You have to read like that. Shubuko rises to meet him. So the curtain rises in Shubuko's drawing room, where Lomo enters fully dressed up in his evening attire. Shubuko stands up to greet him. Shubuko, my dear fellow, whom do I see? Ivan Vasilyevich, I am extremely glad. Squeezes his hand. Now, this is a surprise, my darling. How are you? So Shubuko welcomes his neighbor, Ivan Vasilyevich, very politely and asks about his well-being. While shaking hands, squeezing means shaking. While shaking hands, he also asks Lomo the reason for his visit. So Lomo replies, thank you. How may you be getting on? What do you mean by that, children? How may you be getting on? How are you? Okay, so Lomo While thanking Shibuko for asking about his well-being, Lomo asked him about his condition. How are you? Then Shibuko, we just get along somehow. My angel, thanks to your prayers and so on. Sit down, please, do. Now you shouldn't forget all about your neighbors, my darling. My dear fellow, why are you so formal in your getup? Evening dress, gloves, and so on. Can you be going anywhere, my treasure? So Shibuko replies by saying that they somehow managed to survive peacefully with the blessings of people like Lomo. Then he asks him to sit down and be comfortable. Then, surprised by his formal evening dress, he questions the occasion. Shibuko has very polite way of talking, and thus he often refers to Lomo as my angel, my treasure, my dear, like that. So, my dear fellow, my angel, my treasure. Have you seen those words? Okay, so here Shibuko has a very polite way of talking, and he often refers to Lomo as my angel, my treasure, and so on. So, what's the reply given by Lomo? No, I have come only to see you, honored Stepan Stepanovich. So, Lomo replies by saying that there is no special occasion and he had just come to see the honored Stepan Stepanovich. Okay, then Shibuko, then why are you in evening dress? My precious, as if you are paying a New Year's Eve visit. So, what's going on there, children? Yes, still, Shibuko was curious. He asked him the reason behind Lomo's outfit, Lomo's appearance, because to him it seems as if Lomo is paying them a New Year Eve's visit. Okay. Well, you see, it's like this. Take his arm. I have come to you, honored Stepan Stepanovich, to trouble you with a request. Not once or twice have I already had the privilege of applying to you for help, and you have always, so to speak, I must ask your pardon. I'm getting excited. I shall drink some water, honored Stepan Stepanovich drinks. So, what's the meaning of privilege here, children? Privilege means advantage. See how is in the word, it's in the third line. I have already had the privilege of applying to you for help. So let's see the explanation of this one. So with due respect, with all respect, Lomo grabs Shibuko's arms, takes his arms. So Lomo takes his arms and says, and conveys or says his intention of troubling him with a request. So he conveys his intention of troubling him with a request. With all the gratitude, Lomo mentions the times once, twice. So when Shibuko has helped him, and as he continues talking, he started getting excited. So he calms, in order to calm himself, he drinks some water. So what's going on there, children? Yes, with the due respect, Lomo takes his arm, whose arm? Shibuko's arm, and conveys his intention. What was his intention? Yes, he wanted to trouble him with a request. So with all the gratitude, Lomo mentions the times when Shibuko has helped him, and as he continues talking, he starts getting excited. So he wants to drink some water. So at last he drinks a glass of water. Then Shibuko aside. Have you seen that, children? Aside, So what do you mean by this here? Aside. Aside means, yes, Shibuko has said something to himself. But what is the purpose of that one, children? In order to convince the readers, or in order to convince the audience that he said something secretly. That means it will not allow the other one on the stage. What is Shibuko said something to himself. So what is he trying to say, children? He has come to borrow money. So what was his assumption, children? Yes, Shibuko assumes that Lomo had come to ask for money. So shan't give him any. What do you mean by shan't give? Shan means shall not. Shan't give him any means he had no intention to give him any money. So he said something aside. That means in order to convey something to the audience, not to the other one on the stage. Okay, so he said something. So he has come to borrow some money. So Shibuko assumes that Lomo had come to ask money, which he is in no intention of giving him. Then he said something loudly. Afterwards, he said something loudly. What is it, my beauty? He then asked him the matter of concern. No? What is it? For what purpose you came here? So Lomo said, you see, honored Stepanich, Have you seen the children? Not Stepanovich, Stepanich. I beg pardon, Stepan Onrich. I mean, I'm awfully excited. As you will please notice, in short, you alone can help me, though I don't deserve it, of course, and having any right to count on your assistance. So, what is he trying to say, children? Yes. So, here, tremendously, he became excited and nervous. Who became excited? Lamo. He became excited. So he could not even speak properly to the extent that he was unable to get Shibuko's names right. Have you seen the word, children? Stepanich. That means he was unable to get Shibuko's name right. What's the reason? Because he was so excited. Then what did he do? He begs pardon for Shibuko. He begs Shibuko's pardon for his clearly visible excitement. He was so excited. So at last he tells him that he is the only person who could help him in this situation, although he doesn't deserve and has no right to ask for it. Understood, children? At last, what did he do, children? Lomo, you can help alone. You alone can help me. Though I don't deserve it, of course, I haven't any right to count on your assistance. So what is going on there, children? He tries to say that he is the only person, Shibuko is the only person who could help him in this situation, and he has no right to ask, even he has no right to ask for it. That means he became so polite. That means he wanted to ask his daughter's hand. Really, what was his intention, children? You know what was his intention. So he wanted to ask for his daughter's hand. So he became so polite. So what did he do, children? He begs Shibuko's pardon for his clearly visible excitement. What's the reason? Yes, he was not able to speak properly to the extent, that is what is, he was unable to get Shibuko's name right. So what did he call? Stepanich, honored Stepanich, Stepan Honorich. Have you seen the mistake? So because of his excitement, because of his tremendous excitement and nervousness, he couldn't even speak properly to the extent. Okay, so Shibuko. Oh, don't go round and round it, darling. Spit it out well. So, what is going on there, children? Go round and round. What do you mean by go round and round? Not coming to the main point. So, Shibuko asked him, don't go round and round. Come to the point. Come to the main point. Speak out. So, Shibuko didn't understand what Lomo was referring to, and thus he told him to talk directly. Then Lama, one moment. This very minute, the fact is, I have come to ask the hand of your daughter Natalia Stepanovna in marriage. So at last he says, Lama finally speaks up, only to confess that he had come to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage. Okay. Joyfully, by Jove, Ivan Vasilevich, say it again. I didn't hear it all. So, what's the response of Shibuko, children? Yes, Shibuko couldn't believe what he just heard out of delight, and then he asked Lomo to repeat what he just said. Clear? Then Lomo, I have the honor to ask. So, as soon as Lomo continues to repeat his words, he is interrupted by Shibuko. He is very excited. Then Shibuko interrupting, my dear fellow, I am so glad, and so on, and yes indeed. And all that sort of thing, embraces and kisses Lamo. I have been hoping for it for a long time. It has been my continual desire. It has been my continual desire, sheds a tear. And I have always loved you, my angel, as if you were my own son. May God give you both his help and his love and so on, and so much hope. And what am I behaving in this idiotic way for? I am off my balance with joy, absolutely off my balance. With all my soul, I'll go and call Natasha and all that. So, have you seen the word Natasha, children? Yes, her official name is Natalia Stepanovna, but she was fondly called by her father Natasha. Okay, so next one. So, let's see the explanation of this paragraph. So, what is going on there, children? Yes, Shibuko was extremely delighted. So, he expresses his cheerfulness and contentment. He felt short of words to express his high spirits. So, overwhelmed with joy, he says that it was his long desire getting fulfilled. Then he kissed Lama. He couldn't control but shed a tear on hearing the news. Then he offered his blessings to Lamo and Natasha. He realizes. So he offered his blessings to Lamo. So what did he say, children? See, here it is. May God give you both his help, his love, and so on. So much hope. So then he realizes that he was behaved in a silly way. Okay, so he realizes he had been behaving in a silly way. So what did he say, children? Yes, I am off my balance with joy. Absolutely off my balance. Oh, with my soul. Then what did he say at last? I'll go and call Natasha and all that. So he then calls Natasha to break her the great news. Okay, so Lomo, greatly moved, honored Stepan Stepanovich. Do you think I may count on her consent? Consent, agreement to do something. So Lomo, he was in a confusion. So he asked Shubukov if Natalia will consent for his marriage, for this marriage. So he had a doubt about it. So whether Natalia will consent for this marriage. So Shubukov. So what he says? Oh, why, of course, my darling. And as if she won't consent, she is in love, a god. She's like a lousy cat and so on. Shan't be long. Exit. So what is going on there, children? Yes, have you seen the word, children? A god, E-G-A-D. Children, it's an exclamatory word. It's an exclamatory word expressing one's surprise, anger, or affirmation. Then the next word is lovesick. Have you seen that? L-O-V-E-S-I-C-K. Lovesick means longing or desiring or yearning. Y-E-A-R-N-I-N-G. So Shubukov expresses that there is no way Natalia won't consent because she is longing for his love. So he expresses his confirmation. That is what is, there is no way Natalia won't consent because she is also longing for his love. Then he exits to call her and give the two a chance to talk privately. Okay. Then Lomo, it's cold and trembling all over, just as if I had got an examination before me. The great thing is, I must have my mind made up. If I give myself time to think, to hesitate, to talk a lot, to look for an ideal or for real love, then I will never get married. Boo, it's cold. Natalia Stepanovna is an excellent housekeeper, not bad looking, well educated. What more do I want? But I am getting a noise in my ears from excitement, drinks, and it is impossible for me not to marry. In the first place, I am already 35, a critical age, so to speak. In the second place, I ought to lead a quiet and regular life. I suffer from palpitations. I am excitable and always getting awfully upset. At this very point, my lips are trembling and there is a twitch in my right eyebrow. But the very worst of all is the way I sleep. I no sooner get into bed and begin to go off when suddenly something in my left side gives a pull. Then I can feel it in my shoulder and head. I jump like a lunatic, walk about a bit and lie down again. But as soon as I begin to get off to sleep, there is another pull, and this may happen 20 times. Then by the time Natalia Stepanov comes in. So what is going on there, children? So these are the words. That is what is talked by Lamo himself. Okay, so what is he trying to say, children? So first of all, let's see some new words. Trembling. You know what's the meaning of trembling? So here it is, children. I'm trembling all over. It is cold. I'm trembling all over. As I told you, he was so excited. So trembling means shaking or quivering. See, because of excitement, anxiety. Okay. Then hesitate, pause in indecision before saying or doing something, hesitation. Then housekeeper. Who is a housekeeper? A person who manages a household. Then palpitation, children. Palpitation means it's a condition of a body. So a noticeably rapid, strong or irregular heartbeat due to agitation or due to some illness. Did you understand? So a noticeably rapid, strong or irregular heartbeat due to agitation or due to illness. Then the other word, twitch. What do you mean by twitch? T-W-I-T-C-H. Twitch means a sudden quick movement. A sudden quick moment of feeling. Clear? A sudden quick moment of feeling. Then lunatic. Lunatic, a person who is mentally ill. Clear? So let's see the explanation. It's a lengthy paragraph, children. So what is he trying to say to himself? So it is cold and trembling all over. So Lemo feels nervous and shakes off all over just like he has got on an education before him. Not education, children, an examination. Sorry, children, got on an examination before him. So Lemo feels nervous and shakes off all over just like he has got an examination before him. So he feels that it is in his favor that he already had his mind. He had to made up his mind, because if he gave himself time to ponder upon, his marriage would end up getting delayed hours or being cancelled. So he reassures himself that Natalia Stepanova would make a great partner, as she is an average looking woman, an excellent housekeeper, and a well educated one. Then what else could one ask for? Still excited, he could feel some noises in his ears. He did not give himself the option of not marrying after. What is the reason? Children say 2-3 reasons are there. He had reached the critical age of 35. Understood, children? He had reached, in the first place, I am already 35. It's a critical age because he wished to live a normal life and an ordinary life. So the first one is he had reached the critical age of 35. And the second one is he wanted to, or he wished to live a normal and ordinary life. He wanted to lead, or he wished to live a normal and ordinary life. And third reason, he generally suffers from an abnormally high heart rate and gets upset easily. That is what is, as I told you, palpitation. See, I suffer from palpitations. I am excitable and always getting awfully upset. I told you the meaning of awfully, very upset. So at this very moment, what will be the condition of his body, children? His lips are trembling and there is a twitch in his right eyebrow. What's the meaning of twitch, children? As I told you, twitch means a sudden quick feeling, okay, or a quick moment. Then so even at that moment, his lips were trembling and his eyebrows twitching. Above all this, he doesn't sleep well. Whenever he sleeps, he feels a pull in the right side of his head and shoulder. Then he jumps, walks and lies down. But as soon as he gets off to sleep, he experiences another pull. So this happens for around 20 times. So from this, we realized, we have got an idea about his character, about his physical condition. Okay, so once again, children, I'll give you the explanation. It's a lengthy paragraph. See, Lamo feels nervous and shakes all over just like he has got an examination before him. So he feels that it is in his favor, that he already had his mind made up. So he wanted to make up his mind. What's the reason, children? Because if he gave himself to ponder upon, or his marriage would end up getting delayed or worse, or being cancelled. So he reassures himself that Natalia Stepanovna would make a great partner, as she is an average looking woman, an excellent housekeeper, and a well educated one. Have you seen that, children? See, here it is. She is an excellent housekeeper, not bad looking, well educated. So what more do I want? Then he could feel, see what else could one ask for? So still he is excited. See, he had an assumption that she was an average looking, an excellent housekeeper, and a well educated. Then what else could one ask for? So still he is excited. He could feel some noises in his ears. He did not give himself the option of not marrying after he had reached. So the first reason, as I told you, he had reached the critical age of 35. Then the second one, he had some health problems. See, here it is, children. Palpitation. Have you seen that word? So I told you what's the meaning of palpitation. So he generally suffers from an abnormally high heart rate and gets upset easily. So even at that moment, his lips were trembling and his eyebrows twitching. So above all this, he doesn't sleep well. What's the reason? Whenever he sleeps, he feels a pull on the right side of his head and shoulder. Then he jumps, walks and lies down. But as soon as he is to get off to sleep, he experiences another pull. So this happens for around 20 times. Okay, so by that time, Natalia Stepanovna comes in. So she says, well, there it's you. And Papa said, go. There is a merchant come for his goods. How do you do, Ivan Vasilevich? So what's going on there, children? Shubko's daughter Natalia enters the scene only to see Ivan. To her surprise. So how did she express her surprise? Well, there it's you. And Papa said, go, there is a merchant come for. Yes, so actually, what's her father says, children? Yes, her father has told her that some merchant was waiting to get his goods. Did you get that, son and children? So actually, what is happening there? Her father, her papa, Shibuko, told her that one merchant was waiting to getting his goods. So she was so surprised to see Ivan Vasilevich instead of a merchant. So Lamo, how do you do, Honor, Natalia? Yes, Lamo asked her about her well-being. How are you, Natalia? How do you do? Then Natalia, you must excuse my apron and negligee. We are shelling peas for drying. So we haven't you been here for such a long time. Sit down. They seat themselves. Won't you have some lunch? So negligee. Have you seen that word, children? Neglige. It's a form of nightgown. It's a form of a nightgown. So she apologizes for her apron and dress as they had been shelling peas for drying. So asks him to be comfortable. She even offers him a lunch too. So what did she do, children? See, what is the actual reason, children? Yes, she was in her apron and her nightgown, a form of a nightgown. So she apologizes for her apron and dress that they had been shelling peas for drying. That means actually she thought that there was a merchant waiting for his goods, so she didn't change her dress. So she apologizes for her apron and dress as they had been shelling peas for drying and asked him to be comfortable. So, and at last she even offers him lunch. Then what's the reply given by Lamo? No, thank you. I have had some already. So, on being asked for lunch, Lamo tells her that he had already had his. Okay, then Natalia, she had another option. So let's see what did she say. So then Smock, here are the matches. The weather is splendid now, but yesterday it was so wet that the workmen didn't do anything all day. How much hay have you stacked? Just think, I felt greedy and a whole field cut, and now I am not at all pleased about it because I am afraid my hay may rot. I ought to have waited a bit. But what is this? Why, you are in evening dress. Well, I never. Are you going to a ball or what? Though I must say you look better. Tell me, why are you got up like that? So here again. So what did she do? Again, she offers him smoke. She then offers Lamo to smoke. She talks about the great weather they were experiencing that day and how bad it was the previous day, that the workmen couldn't do anything the entire day because yesterday was not so suitable for them to work. So she starts talking about her haystack, and now she had been greedy enough to get the entire field cut, which is worrying her now. What's the reason? Because yesterday maybe it was raining. Okay, so while talking she suddenly notices his dress and guesses if he is going for the ball. She compliments him and asks him the occasion. Okay, understood. Then Lomo, excited, you see, on a Natalia. The fact is that I have made up my mind to ask you to hear me out. Of course, you will be surprised and perhaps even angry, but aside, it's awfully cold. So again, Lomo begins talking and warns her that she could be surprised or even angry upon hearing. He feels strangely cold. Natalia, what's the matter? Well, yes, again Natalia asks him the matter of his concern. Then, I shall try to be brief. You must know, Anna Natalia Stepanovna, that I have long since my childhood, in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. My late aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land and always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother. The Lamos and the Shubukos have always had the most friendly, I might almost say the most affectionate regard for each other. As you know, my land is a near neighbor of yours. You will remember that my oxen meadows touch your birch woods. So what is going on there, children? Yes, so Lamo tries to be in brief in his approach. He begins by recalling the good relation between both of their families from the beginning. His late aunt and her husband respected Natalia's parents. He even mentions that their lands are neighbors to each other and his oxen meadows touches their birch woods. Did you understand, children? So, Lemo, what is he doing there, children? Yes, Lemo tries to be in brief in his approach. So, he begins by recalling the good old relations in between both their families from the beginning. His late aunt and her husband respected Natalia's parents, and he even mentions that their lands are neighbors to each other. See? Here it is, children, oxen meadows. What do you mean by oxen meadows? See, a land full of grass for animals to graze in. Have you seen that? See, you will remember that my oxen meadows touch your birchwood. So, oxen meadows means a land full of grass for animals to graze in. Then birchwood means a wood of birch trees. So, what is he trying to say? Yes, he mentions that their lands, oxen meadows and birchwoods, are neighbors to each other, and his oxen meadows touches their birchwoods. Then, excuse my interrupting you, you say, my oxen meadows, but are they yours? Then Natalia questions the integrity of Lamo by how, children? By asking if the oxen meadows that he claims to own are actually his. Then Lamo says, yes, mine. Lamo affirms, yes, it's mine. Then Natalia, what are you talking about? Oxen meadows are ours, not yours. So, what is going on there, children? Yes, she couldn't believe that what she was hearing, because according to her, the oxen meadows are hers. Then, no, mine, honored Natalia. Then Lamo explains that they are his. Then again Natalia, well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out? Then Natalia says that she was not aware of it and asked Lamo for an explanation. Then Lamo says, how? I am speaking of the oxen meadows which are wedged in between your birchwoods and the burn marsh. So what is going on there, children? So Lamo tries to clarify and points out that the exact oxen meadows he is talking about, the one that are wedged between birchwoods and the burn marsh. Yes, they are ours. Then Natalia also confirms that she is talking about those particular meadows only. So they are trying to argue each other. Okay, so Lamo, no, you are mistaken. Honor Natalia Stepanova, they are mine. So, Lamo thinks that there is some misunderstanding that Natalia has, because he is very sure that they are his. So, what is going on there, children? Yes, again, Natalia says, how long? Just think, Ivan Vasilevich, how long have they been yours? How long? As long as I can remember. So, what is going on there, children? There is a quarreling, or there is an argument in between them. So, Natalia says that oxen meadows are hers, and Lamo says oxen meadows are his. Okay, so they are arguing each other. But you can see from the documents on Natalia Stepanovna, oxen meadows, it's true, were once the subject of dispute, but now everybody knows that they are mine. There is nothing to argue about it. You see, my aunt's grandmother gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants of your father's grandfather, in return for which they were to make bricks for her. The peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years and had got into the habit of regarding them as their own. So, when it happened that, then what do you mean by the word, children? Perpetuity. Perpetuity. The state or quality of lasting forever. So what is going on there, children? Lamo mentions that he has the proof that the land belongs to him. So did you get the argument, children? So they were arguing over the oxen meadows. Okay, so Lamo mentioned that he has proof that the land belongs to him. He even highlights that once oxen meadows were a disputed property, but now the issue had been resolved and they are now his. Then he goes back into its history and specifies that his aunt's grandmother had given the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the peasants of her father's grandfather. And according to him, it was given for 40 years and the peasants got in the habit of regarding it as their own. Then what's the reply given by Natalia? No, it isn't at all like that. Both grandfather and great-grandfather reckon that their land extended to Burn Marsh, which means that oxen meadows were ours. I don't see what there is to argue about it. It's simply silly. So what do you mean by the word reckon, children? Reckon means established by calculation. So Natalia disagrees. Since childhood, she has heard from her grandfather and her great grandfather that their land extended till the Burn Marsh. So she completely trusted them and doesn't see any point in arguing about its ownership. So, what is he trying to say, children? Lomo. I'll show you the documents, Natalia. Again, he insists on showing her the proof, the documents. Natalia says, no, you're simply joking or making fun of me. What is the price? We have had the land for nearly 300 years, and then we are suddenly told that it is in ours. Ivan Vasilevich, I can hardly believe my own ears. These meadows aren't worth much to me. They only come to my 5 designs, and worth perhaps 300 rubles. But I can't stand unfairness. Say what you will, I can't stand unfairness. So here, Natalia thinks of it as some kind of joke because she believes the land is theirs since past 300 years. And now someone comes claiming it to be his property. Although the land is of much worth, only around 300 rubles. But Natalia is highly disappointed by the unfairness. So what she is trying to say, children, yes, these meadows aren't worth much to me. These meadows are worth much to me means although the land is of much worth, only around 300 rubles. But what's the condition? I can't stand unfairness. So she is highly disappointed by the unfairness told by Lomo. Then again Lomo says, hear me out, I implore you. The peasants of your father's grandfather, as I have already had the honor of explaining to you, used to bake bricks for my aunt's grandfather. Now my aunt's grandmother wishing to make them a present. So Lomo begs Natalia to at least listen to what he is trying to say. I implore you. What do you mean by implore? Beg. I beg you. I beg you. So Lomo begs Natalia to at least listen to what he is trying to say. He mentions that her great-grandfather's peasants used to bake bricks for his aunt's grandmother. And as he continued talking, he was interrupted by Natalia. So what is going on there, children? Yes, she was interrupted by Natalia. So Lomo begs her, but he was interrupted by Natalia. I can't make a head or tail of all these about aunts and grandfathers and grandmothers. The meadows are ours. That's all. So what she is trying to say, children? Yes, Natalia expresses her reluctance on hearing to any of his tales, any of his stories. She just knows one thing. The ox and meadows are hers. Then Lomo says, mine. Lomo says that they are his. Natalia says, ours. You can go on proving it for 2 days on end. You can go and put on 15 dress jackets, but I tell you they are ours, ours, ours. I don't want anything of yours and I don't want to give anything of mine. So there. So Natalia disagrees and tells him that he can do anything to prove his theory. Or wear 15 such dress jackets. Then what do you mean by that, children? 15 such a dress jacket. That means she won't come under the influence of him being well dressed. She was not being attracted by his well-being appearance. So she will never accept the fact that they are his. So she clarifies that she wants nothing from him and doesn't intend on giving anything that is hers. But the ox and meadows are hers. So she argued that the ox and meadows are hers. So she clarified that she wanted nothing from him and she did not want to give anything to him too. Okay, then Natalia Stepanovna, I don't want the meadows, but I am acting on principle. If you like, I'll make you a present of them. So again, Lomo clarifies that even he doesn't value the ox and meadows much, but he's just being fair and acting on principle. So he even offered to make a present of the meadows to her. He even offered to make a present. He wanted to give it as a present to her. Then Natalia says, I can make you a present of them myself. Your behavior, Ivan Vasilevich, is strange to say the least. Upon today's, we have always thought of you as a good neighbor, a friend. Last year, we lent you our threshing machine, although on that account, we have to put off our own threshing till November. But you behave to us as if we were gypsies, giving me my own land. Indeed, not really, that's not at all neighborly. In my opinion, it's even imprudent if you want to know. So, what is going on there, children? impudent. What do you mean by children? Impudent. Impudent means not showing due respect. Okay, then the word gypsies, you know what's the meaning of gypsies? A group of nomadic people who travel from one place to another. So what is going on there, children? Natalia also offers to make a present of them to him because they are actually hers. So she is shocked at how he is offering to gift her property to her only. So she mentioned that he had been acting very strange. Until then, they thought of him as a friendly neighbor, but now he's not at all acting neighborly. So Natalia's families offer him their threshing machine last year, even if it is meant delaying their own process. But he has been treating them oddly. So she feels that he's not showing a due respect to him. Okay, so then you make out that I'm a land grabber. Madam, never in my life have I grabbed anybody else's land. I shan't allow anybody to accuse me of having done so. Quickly steps to the carafe and drinks more water. Oxen meadows are mine. So carafe, what do you mean by carafe, children? An open topped glass flask used for serving wine or water in a restaurant. It's a jug, an open topped glass flask used for serving wine or water. So what did he do, children? He takes it as if Natalia is accusing him of being a land grabber. You know what it is. So he gets offended and mentions that never in his life has he grabbed somebody that is not his, something that is not his. So he cannot stand someone accusing him of the same. While sipping on some water, he mentioned that the oxen meadows are his. So Natalia, it's not true. They are ours. Lomo says, it's mine. Okay, children. So have you got the story, children? A little bit is there. It's a lengthy lesson. I think 12 to 13 pages are there. The rest of the lesson will be explained in our next classes. I have divided it into 3 parts, children. You just read the lesson again and again. It's just a simple lesson. It's an argument over the property. Okay, so read the lesson thoroughly. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.